Good evening and thanks for joining us on today's edition of Platform on your choice station, NTA Channel 5 at Ekiti. I'm your host, Tayo Osho. In a democratic system of government, the opposition party plays a vital role in checking and challenging the decisions of the ruling party or government to ensure accountability and quality representation. On today's edition of Platform, we will be discussing the concept of opposition parties in a democratic system of government. And my guest on today's edition of the program is a PhD holder and a special advisor to the governor of Ekiti State on public communication political, Dr. Tayo. Thanks for joining us on the program.
Thanks so much. You're welcome.
All right, let's look at the concept of opposition party in a democratic system of government. What exactly is the concept of opposition parties in democracy?
Thank you very much. Well, that is a broad, we can give it a broad definition, but basically when you talk of opposition party, we mean political parties that are not in government, that stand to review activities of the ruling party. But in a broad context, opposition party captures or encapsulates all groups, be it human rights group, be it social body, it can be a pressure group, So opposition party stands like a pressure group to the ruling party at all levels. We have opposition party at the national level, we have opposition party at the state level, we have at local government level. So whatever group stands to give a critical analysis, objectively though, about the ruling party is what it is called. It's what is called opposition party.
Right, talked about giving objective analysis of the ruling party. So what are the other roles of opposition party aside?
Well, apart from providing constructive criticism, opposition party, when you now talk about the narrow definition now, that is a political party that is not in government, another duty or other duties, one is to provide alternative government. Because there is no point being in the opposition criticizing government without getting your party prepared to get power from the ruling party. So principally, one can say the work of the opposition is to criticize the ruling party, point out the lapses of the ruling party with the hope or motive of capturing power. Let me capture in quote, because I don't want to give you the definition, or a literal definition, because when you say capture, through ballot boxes.
Talking about preparing a political party, preparing to take power through ballot. So how do you think a political party, an opposition party, can actually position itself to be able to make impression on the government, the people, based on what the government of the day is actually doing?
Thank you very much. Yes, a political party can do many things to position itself to take power from the ruling party. One, like I said, criticize government activities, not only criticizing, providing alternative way of doing it. Let me give you an example. In 2003, when Fayose wanted to come in, Niyi Adebayo was in government, and he was a governor then, and nobody could ever think that power can be taken from the Alliance for Democracy then, because PDP, which was the leading opposition party, was an underdog then. But Fayose came from the goods and started giving water, giving this. He just sat down and said, okay, where are those lapses of this present government? What are the things that this government is lacking? Then he started providing water, providing little things. And because of the poverty, in the society, everybody started keen to it and so on. Then another thing is that you must provide a platform for other political gladiators in the particular area where you are. For instance, the ruling party at times, we have a lot of disgruntled members, and before you know what is happening, the opposition party will reach out to them. Please come to our party, we will give you a platform to contest. The ruling party at times can be funny. If you don't know how to manage success, before you know what is happening, some people will contest to say, I'm not going to give you my ticket. This is the person who will fly our ticket, so and so. Instead of managing it such that if you want to have consensus, you have consensus agreement. But the situation where you just say no consensus, this is the person we want to use. Those other people will gather themselves together, go to the opposition party, and the opposition will constitute themselves to alternative government. And before you know what is happening, they take over from the. So that is exactly where the opposition party is lacking in Nigeria of today. Because instead of providing alternative platform, giving constructive criticism, they are busy talking about things that are irrelevant, mundane things, and so on and so forth. Several occasions I will see opposition in Ekiti State talking about the governor went to do the wedding of his son, of his daughter. So these are not issues. They are not issues. You address issues. What is happening about the economy of the state? What is government doing about education? As if fulfill a sixth pillar, the sixth pillar of his administration, but instead somebody is going to receive award. How does that affect? So when you talk of effective opposition criticism, it's not about mundane things.
Talking about opposition parties in Nigeria, you said earlier that the opposition parties in Nigeria are not criticizing as much as they should. But looking at the political terrain of Nigeria is a multi-party democratic system. Don't you think maybe that could be a challenge in having a vibrant opposition party?
I can't understand what you mean. That's exactly what I've just said. In terms of vibrancy, I don't see them doing that. Probably you are talking about coalition.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't want to rule that out, because it was through coalition that APC came together. But where are those people that will form coalition now? You see, during the time the APC was coming on board, there were a lot of factors. The big guns in PDP then came, but where are the big guns in APC that will go and join? Because when you don't have people, it takes a lot of resources, and it takes a lot of personality, and to come and put some people together. Those people you say you want to put together now, I'm sorry, most of them are failed politicians. So when you talk of amalgamation of parties or coalition of politicians, you get a gamut of people that are who is who, that you can refer to as who is who in Nigeria. That's what can make a change.
Right. So what are the factors needed for a political party to be seen as a strong opposition?
I've said it's earlier that the factors that make a political party to form strong and violent opposition is by having constructive criticism. 1, 2, by being fearless and being strong in its internal workings. So, okay, let's take Ekiti for instance. Which party can you refer to as an opposition party in Ekiti? Which party? Because, like I just said, you say you want to have a opposition party, there must be a strong internal working in your party. The party must be strong internally. It's not a party where Taiwo is going this way, Kehinde is going this way, Alaba is going this way. Before they can come and say they want to give a good fight to the ruling party, they will first of all have to fight and resolve the fights, in-house fights, among them. So one thing that is very cogent for a party to be a strong opposition is that there must be a strong internal working in that party.
Let's take a look away from opposition parties criticizing government. You said it should be constructive criticism. So how can all these constructive criticism be channeled towards contributing to good governance in the society?
First and foremost, you must define what is constructive criticism. Constructive criticism, if you want people to listen to you, if you don't want to be listening to yourself, constructive criticism is when Governor Bao, for instance, does something that is not good, tell him that what you have done is bad. When Governor Bao does something that is good, tell him that what you have done is good. But in a situation where everything you see is negativity, you don't see something positive, the other party will not listen to you. The other, for instance, when you talk of criticism, for instance, your aim, your objective is to win to your side some members of APC. It's not because you just want to satisfy members of PDP. That shouldn't be the purpose of criticizing. That's what many people don't know. But some people will just be talking, they will be saying things that their members want to hear. But if you want to give constructive criticism, you can even talk about welfare of the ruling party members. That government should do this, government should do that. And these people will say, these are something that we cannot say. Opposition party is saying it for us. But here, they don't know what is opposition. Okay, look at the likes of, yes, people can say that's why they give them ambassadorial appointment. Well, I don't know. Politics is about who gets power, it's about who gets what, where, and when. Now, look at Shehu Sani, for instance. He was an SDP, he criticized, he said Fulani should not be kidnapping, should not engage in banditry, and so on and so forth. When he has to criticize president, he will criticize president. When he has to criticize his Fulani people or Northerners, he will criticize. Look at Leon Mokri or Reno Mokri. He will go around, he was criticizing Tinubu at the time. At the time, he started going to different places saying good things that he saw. But some people believe that you are not yet a critic unless you can say worse things about the government. Yes, you can say some things that are not good when it's apparent that this government is not. But when the government is doing something, please give it to him or to such leader, so that people that are in that party will say, this man is making point. Objectivity. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Look at, generally speaking, human beings don't really like to be opposed to people standing up to them, and as one of the attributes of the human being. But do you think a democracy can function effectively without a vibrant opposition?
All we have been talking about is vibrant opposition, and what is vibrant opposition? Is objectivity.
Yes.
I understood your question. But we just have to start by knowing what is vibrancy. Because if you say something is vibrant, it is not when you are giving a blanket condemnation of government. So it is not that people don't like opposition, but do things properly. If you must criticize the government, criticize based on truth. But if you engage in sedition, fabrication of lies, false news, definitely you will be called to account for it. There must be accountability in everything. Just as the government holds the public accountability, so also the public should be accountable for whatever you say. There is freedom of expression, but you must be accountable for whatever statement you must be ready to defend your statement. You shouldn't say because there is freedom of expression, you go ahead and defame others, or you create rancor here and there, and you say, yes, freedom of expression. No, people will call you to come and account for whatever you say. That is just it. So it's not about whether people like to be criticized or not like to be criticized. The Constitution is there. The Constitution is the grand norm of bedrock of democracy. So definitely, whatever anybody wants to say, it must be in tandem with the provisions of the law.
Right. So, what are the major challenges being faced by opposition parties in a democratic system like Nigeria?
Well, part of the major challenges, you say, well, they claim that the ruling party tried to, stifle them, maybe frustrate them and all that. And how do they stifle them? By getting their members. Every party wants to win the other person from one party to his side. So you notice that with these positions now, ambassadorial positions, Tinubu is already hijacking most members of the opposition. Wike is supposed to be an opposition, isn't it? Is that not so? But Wike is today part of is the Minister of Federal Capital. Fayose supposed to be leader of opposition, but today is working. Part of the problem that opposition will always have in any state is when they have a ruling government that is performing. When the ruling government is performing, opposition will have problem. Because look at Ekiti State now, I don't really know what anybody will use to campaign against Governor Oyebaji. I don't know. Will you say, okay, they did not perform in terms of road or whatever, or will you say your salary is not paid? Will you say you don't get your promotion? Will you say economy is not? Look at construction sites everywhere on the road. So opposition will have problem in Ekiti because we have a performing governor. If we don't see what is happening in Abuja, we will see what is happening in Ekiti. So opposition cannot thrive in a state where there is a performing governor like that of Ekiti State. So these are some of the challenges that opposition have. And again, when you have oppositions that are also greedy, where everybody is looking for what to grab, they are not ready to stay in their party and build their party. There are some people like that. Then some of the things that finally that serve as the last straw that breaks the camel back is lack of objectivity. When you are not objective, there's no way your party can grow, because part of lack of objectivity to the other party will also affect your own party, because you'll be having intra-party crisis. Inter-party crisis is when party A is fighting party B, but intra-party crisis is when party A is fighting party A, fighting themselves within themselves.
All right, some people have the opinion that in a democratic system of governance where you have just two parties, it's always easier to have a vibrant opposition compared to when you have a multi-party system like the system we have in Nigeria. What is your take on this?
I don't think that is correct. Well, opposition does not necessarily, even in the US, we have different political parties, but majorly you have the Democrats and the Republicans. That is not to say that those are the only two parties there. The same thing in the US. You have the Labour, but the point is that there will be other parties. Even when there are other parties, these other parties can team up, not necessarily forming a new party. But look at Ekiti now, they call something CNPP or something, I don't know, Conference of Political Parties in Ekiti State. They can come together and make a prominent voice that, okay, government, let us look at government activities. They can sponsor program on television and radio, come and make program and let people know. But instead, everybody will be looking for where his bread will be buttered.
Yeah. So how can ruling party check the opposition parties when their activity seems to be out of control, which could be limited?
Through various people-oriented programs. That's all. I mean, the ruling party does not have any other thing to do than to keep on doing projects. You see, let me tell you, it's only on serious government that will put out all these resources to when people are talking, continue working. Look at what is, like I always make it as a yardstick. Some people are criticizing Bao. They are criticizing Bao, but he keeps on working. He keeps on working. Some of us that are working for him say, face your work. At times when you go there and say, that people are saying, I'm not concerned about that. What I'm concerned is about my. So if somebody who employs you as a spokesperson is telling you, first what I employ, first the job we are doing, we don't want distraction. The best a government can do is to let people that want to fight on social media, you need so person you relate yesterday, you related somewhere. That's not governance. Governance is about getting people oriented programs executed, and that is the only thing a serious government can do, a ruling government can do. You know, how many times have you seen Tinubu replying some people talking, you are doing this, how many times have you seen Tinubu do that? Tinubu will focus some of the things, you know, he's doing. And his spokesperson, how many times have you seen Tinubu's spokesperson coming on NTA, coming on, you know, replying people in Ashaba, people in Odisha, people in there? No, through the projects. Umai, who is the Minister for Works, recently was saying something is going to happen in Akwa Ibom, that they are going to do dualization of the roads. These are projects, these are programs that will speak. When anybody is criticizing Tinubu in Akwa Ibom, some people will say, this is the road that I want to see. The same thing in Ekiti.
You said earlier that people should be made accountable to whatever it is they have said. So in a situation where maybe there's a statement or something being said by the opposition party that is inimical to national security or peaceful coexistence, how do you think government can handle it? That it won't be like they are kind of
autocratic.
They are kind of autocratic.
Government can handle it simply by acting within the confine of the constitution. That's all. What is the position of the constitution on that thing? If there is an aberration, or there is any illegality or anything done that is illegal or whatever, then the law will come to play. Whosoever flouts the law will take its course, irrespective of whatever anybody. Okay, recently people are saying one copper said this about Tinubu. Tinubu is autocratic. Why are they? What is the position of the NYSC Act concerning a youth corps member? Is it the position of NYSC? Sorry, this is just a diagram, but it's just it falls within this concept of the question. Is it the position of NYSC Act that when a corps member is posted to his PPA or a PPA, primary place of assignment, okay, to leave the place and be junketing around on social media? Okay, let's take Ekiti for instance as an example. You have corpers there. Maybe somebody read mass communication and is now posted here to be working. Let's forget about whether NYSC is really a paramilitary organization or not, where you structure whatever you do or say as a paramilitary person. Let's take it as you are a staff of this place. So instead of working here, you now sit at home, you are showing your half-naked body to the people who are saying, yes, so this, so. I mean, these are the things. Everybody that flouts the law is irrespective of whatever anybody says about the government, the law will take its course. That's the way I see it.
Let's talk about prayer groups also playing the role of opposition in democracy. So how best can prayer groups exercise this role of opposition?
By doing review of government activities from time to time. Several occasions you see Femi Falana talking about government policy objectively. I love his way of doing things, just like the one we will do that time. You come and say, okay, this thing should not be done. This thing should not be done. Recently, when they said Natasha should not enter, when they said Natasha should not enter Kogi, Femi Falana came and he frowned at it that is wrong. Why should you say somebody? This is democracy. The constitution allows us to have freedom of speech and freedom of association. How can you say you should not enter? So these are things that can be done. It is not just sitting down somewhere fighting over largesse that come to your party.
Do you think the media, you used to be a media person, do you think the media is doing enough in portraying the activities of opposition parties so that they can play their role effectively?
Well, I can say the media is trying its best within the availability of resources. In those days, the media will go, you can even travel out of. I remember in Nigerian Tribune, several occasions I was sent to Mina, to different parts. I went during JC fire in 1997. I went there. There was a time when Babangida retired. I was in Nigeria to go. They sent me there to interview him in Mina. But how many can NTA now sponsor you to go to Lagos to go enter? They will say we have a correspondent there. Let him talk. Whereas if an Ekiti person, maybe a senator is staying in Lagos and is doing something, the best is to send someone from here who knows that senator, who can easily relate. But where are the resources? That's the problem. So within the limited resources available to journalists, I wouldn't say that there are no lapses. There are lapses because there are some personal problems which are caused by lack of professionalism, lack of sufficient training, and they also need on-the-job training. So a lot of factors. We have to talk about that. We won't leave this place today.
Thank you very much. Dear viewers, this is how far we'll be able to go to this edition of our platform. I want to appreciate my guest, Dr. Tai Ogutayo, Special Advisor to the Governor of Ekiti State on Public Communication Political. Many thanks for being on the program.
Thank you very much. Let me seize this opportunity to congratulate journalists in Nigeria on the 78th anniversary of the Nigerian Union of Journalists in Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dear viewers, many thanks for watching. Join us next week for another edition of the program. Until then, have a blessed day. Bye for now. Thank you. Talk about
it.